These three icons down here is the next part of it. So we're going to be actually trying to style them. So instead of that, they look like this. So a little bit more space between them, and they're centered compared to the height of this box here. So what we need to do now is we need to go down in our CSS, create a hashtag that fits with this down here. So we have one called social, footer social box, and we have these anchors inside of it. So we're going to be using this. So footer underscore, oops, spell it correctly, footer underscore social underscore box, and we're going to be starting with this one. Create your curly bracket so it looks like this. And again, we're going to be using display flex because we want it to maneuver all these items around. And we're going to be justify center. We want it to be justified so it's again centered. Align item, so the items are centered that way, it's vertically, I guess. And the last one is we want to add, I'm going to show you what this actually does before putting it in. So let's stick with these first and save, go to your browser and see what this does. So it centered them horizontally but not vertically. The reason for this is right now the box is thinking that it's only that high, as you can see marked up on the actual thing in the browser. So we may need to make sure that it goes from up here and all the way down here. And we can do this in our code by just adding height, setting this to 100%. So now the system knows that it needs to expand the height all the way down here when there's still room. And now we can actually center these because now it has a starting point to measure from. So that's the first part of this. Next part is we want to start creating a little bit space between them like we had in the previous one. So almost the same, footer underscore social underscore box, and then we're going to basically attack the anchors here because they are the ones in our page here that we need to create space between. And we can do this by again using this flex that we're already using. So we're just going to create a width first of all for these icons. We're going to create, whoa, why does it go capital? 40 pixels, and we're also going to assign a height to them. So this is a good idea to do with things like this. They are never going to change basically in this height and width, so assign those to this so we can easily manipulate them. We're also going to add a margin, and this is 5 pixels. Sorry, we're going to add it to left, so top 0, right 0, bottom 0, and 5 to the left. And then we're going to use box sizing to make sure it doesn't go nuts and expand the boxes if it's not allowed to. And the last thing we're going to add is a padding to this. So padding is the inside of this. So go with 8 to top, 0, 0, 12, and let's see what this actually does to it. And now we just put a space between these with using both margin padding and box border boxing, so it doesn't expand because maybe the in here would be create these different create a wider box compared to before. So again, these 5 things can be changed. You can possibly also use this space around or space between if you feel like it, but in this case I used this. So now it's almost the same as this one, right? So we have these down here, these down here. Let's click refresh. But the next part we need to look at is these borders here, because we have one border here and then we have 2 borders here. This box over here, this box actually has a left border and then a right border. And the same with this one. This has a left border and a right border, and a left and a right, and a left and a right. That's the reason why we see it's like kind of a double, because it is a double. It has a left, right next to each other. So we actually need to remove the left border of 1, 2, and 3 boxes. So the third, second, the third, and the last box. And we're going to use a specific CSS to target every one but a specific box in the next one.